Hey crew, I've got the key card to this Tesla Model X Plaid. We are going to take it for a drive, but first let's check out how it looks on the inside and outside. Now the new Model X looks a lot like the old one, but there are some tweaks. We've got updated LED headlights and daytime running lights, a resculpted lower bumper. This is actually a black painted Model X that's been wrapped in this chalky exterior with teal accents. I'm into it. In profile, you have two-wheel options, 20s, or as this one is equipped, 22s that do cut the range compared to the 20s but look so much better. Blacked out brake calipers, mirror caps, window trim, flush-mounted door handles. Stepping back to look at the profile, here the Model X still, to me, just looks funky. That giant greenhouse, yes, it means tons of passenger volume, but it's not a very striking profile. At the rear, apologies for all the wind noise by the way, that roof folds into a duck-lipped trunk. See the spoiler popped up. LED taillights within blacked out housings, black bar across the rear, teal Tesla badge on this one, and then down low, a resculpted lower diffuser. The rear, kind of like the profile, there's just not much going on here for me. Certainly the exterior of the Model X doesn't really scream performance, but let's see about that interior. Opening up the Falcon Wing doors, which doesn't matter how many times I see them, are still so cool. And looking inside, the Model X Plaid only is offered in a 6-seater configuration. Can't choose the 5 or 7 you can of the long range. We've got a third row with 2 seats, and then these floating second row seats with power adjustments. I'll slide inside and then over to my driving position, maybe, where I can fit with a bit of knee room. Foot pockets are big to slide my feet under. I've got thigh support and plenty of headroom, along with a little view window. It's cool. It's like a safari window for a Model X. There's a monitor back here to control the climate. You can even watch movies, play games, do all sorts of things. You've got 2 USB ports, cup holders that pop out. I'll slide back into the third row. See if I can fit behind this seat. And I definitely cannot. And just as bad is the headroom. Yeah, heads on the roof here. I do have cup holders though, so maybe just for smaller kiddos. As soon as you're out of the way, Falcon Wing doors close up. Quite efficiently at that for being so big. Press the button here to open up the trunk, where there's actually pretty good space behind the third row, and even deeper storage under this floor. To get into the front doors, you just press on them and they pop out for you. And the mix of materials here, first we got a duotone black on white leatherette. Feels really nice. Tons of storage in the door. There's matte carbon fiber trim here, white contrast stitching, this cool fabric. The driver and front passenger seat are heated and ventilated, power adjustable. We've got aluminum pedals, and of course this yoke. To close up this door, you just put your foot on the brake as the driver closes up for you. This is just so wild in person. Seeing photos is one thing. In person, this is like totally the cross between a video game controller and an F1 steering wheel. We'll see how practical it is in motion, but for now it's pretty amazing. You've got your turn signals here. These 2 dials, controller things, adjust any number of things depending on what you're accessing in the infotainment. You've got a digital gauge cluster here, high refresh rate, crisp resolution, and then this 16-inch screen is just amazing. How fast it responds to inputs is just wild. I still miss out on Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, but everything else about it, all the Easter eggs are so cool. The resolution, so good. Wireless charging pads are there. Tons of storage. Below, the carbon fiber trim. Deep storage in there. And then, I mean, you can't not talk about this huge windshield. Honestly, it feels like you're in a helicopter from the front. But how's it feel to drive? Let's find out. All right, I don't have to say anything like, let's fire it up, because the moment you're in and your foot's on the brake, car is on. And I will be chauffeuring today Forrest Jones of Forrest Auto Reviews.
Hello.
If you guys don't follow him on TikTok, you absolutely need to, because he's made a couple videos that I filmed, thank you very much, of the Tesla Model X Plaid. So go watch those and have a ball. Back to the Tesla Model X Plaid. Seatbelt is on. We're going to start out by choosing, well, actually, you swipe forward to go forward, you swipe back to go back, and then you tap P for park. That is your drive selection in the vehicle, and then you can choose a whole bunch of other settings. So here, pedals and steering will have acceleration on chill, and I also want to raise the air suspension because we're going to go over like a bumpy road to start. One, it'll be a good chance to test the suspension, but also to just make sure we don't scrape anything, because this is not a Tesla manufacturer car. This is owned by Joey Rogoff, who is another person you should absolutely follow on TikTok and Instagram. Does a bunch of cool videos. I'm saying this as I'm doing the turning radius test, by the way, which it's crushing. Doing so well here. But yes, a big thank you to Joey Rogoff for letting us borrow his Tesla Model X Plaid to film some cool content. Turning the yoke was odd. I'm finding that immediately my instinct is to just use the top of the wheel, not to use my hands on it, especially for a really tight turn like that. Bumpier stuff here. Testing the adaptive dampers. They're taking it pretty well. And the chill acceleration is very chill. Like it's a very heavy pedal to move us forward. And there's only one level of regen, I believe. Forrest and I were going back and forth on this, like whether you can adjust the regen. I think after the update that they did recently, you only have one regen setting. We are in the comfort suspension setting, by the way. So yeah, suspension is checking out so far over rough stuff like this. Now the rattles happening inside the cabin very well could be from all of the cargo that we have behind the third row. Forrest, are you hearing anything like around you that sounds like panels or anything like that?
On the...
Just inside, like around the cabin, are you hearing anything that sounds like...
I am, just a little bit. Left rear quarter panel area.
Okay, left rear quarter panel. Tesla, go ahead and fix that on your next Model X Plaid that you deliver. So I remember the last time I drove a Model X, and it was like a 75D, or no, I think it was a 100D. Yeah, it was the one I drove with you, Forrest. That one, my biggest complaint about it was not how it looked, because that's just like whatever, you either like it or you don't, but it was the cabin insulation rather. It was just so windy, and there was so much road noise that got in that I could not justify the $100,000 they were charging for it beyond the cool tech and the performance. So we'll have to see when we get out onto real streets how loud it is in here. Or we finally got off that bumpy road, and in order to prime up the full launch from the drag strip mode, I had to put it in Plaid and then hit drag strip mode, and it takes a while to get that ready, but actually it's already ready. So we'll do that at a stop at some point in the future, because I want to be able to do cheetah mode, where it takes a second to raise up the rear, give you that full traction off the line. But in Plaid mode, my goodness, the throttle response already is just, I don't know if I'm ready for this. Oh, I don't know if Forrest was ready for that. I'm sorry, I should have warned you. My goodness!
It feels so much more insane from the back seat.
My heart right now is fluttering like crazy. And also, this is gonna sound wild, maybe not wild to you because you're not in my head, but I fully anticipated hating the yoke, but I kind of love it. Because all you want to do, especially in Plaid mode, is just grab on and grip it so hard. And it feels so cool. Oh, went for the stalk to use the turn signal. Okay. So that I haven't gotten used to yet. But yeah, I mean, from a performance driving standpoint, you just want to grab onto the yoke. And that makes it awesome. This is going to be weird. Okay, that was totally bizarre. Trying to make a U-turn there. Okay, here we go. Oh my gosh. That is absurd. That is stupid. That's just dumb. How is that a thing? I just hear Forrest giggling in the back the whole time. How is that a thing? Wow. Okay, plaid mode. Okay, I've beaten around the bush enough. We need to talk about some specs for the Model X Plaid. Tri-motor setup. 1,020 horsepower. 752 pound-feet of torque, I think. That was actually a hard number to find. Tesla definitely doesn't quote it. It was like a weird third-party source that came up with that 750 pound-feet of torque figure, so I don't know if that's right. But 1,020 horsepower. Yes, this thing weighs like 6,000 pounds. But that is still a laughable power figure. All-wheel drive, so it just hooks up immediately. Neither Forrest nor I tested the 0 to 60 time for ourselves, but independent tests say you can do it even faster than the quoted 2.5 seconds. That would be at full juice. We are not at full juice right now. We've got 145 miles of range, but we're still at half power. So we should still get pretty incredible performance. I mean, I'm just the most powerful production SUV on the road. I'm driving that right now with a joystick. That's just my word for it. Don't get mad at me, gamers. I know. Joystick would be like this, okay? And you hear all of the cooling happening to prime those batteries for the ultimate acceleration. We'll do that momentarily. We found our clearing for our launch. No one around. Foot hard on the brake. Hold it. You can see this animation happening, getting ready for launch. I don't know if I'm ready. Forrest, are you ready?
I think I'm ready.
Okay, we're ready. Oh, stop. Holy cow. The G-force on my head was so intense. Good Lord, that's frightening. And that, I mean, okay, that was that with little less than half juice. When Forrest and I did it, we had a little more than half juice, and that felt even more intense. So I'm only going to be able to describe the level of more intense than that just was. It made my head hurt. In simple terms, that's all I can say. It made my head hurt with the force of acceleration. We are going to do that again because I like to scare myself. This time we're a little uphill, but it should still be pretty nuts. Okay, priming, preparing. Prepared. Here we go. Ready, Forrest?
Ready.
Okay. Holy dude, the craziest part is not the 0 to 60. It's actually how hard it keeps ripping forward. Like it does not relent. This is like that Lucid Air, and I think probably it measures up fairly well. I know the Model S Plaid's even more crazy than the Lucid Air, but this and the Lucid Air, the Dream Performance, are probably about the same in the way that they just like hunt forward so hard. And that just makes me want to drive a Model S Plaid even more because I got to see something crazier than that. You have driven that, right?
Yeah, it's very fast.
The simplest explanation ever. Yeah, it's very quick.
Very
That's a very quick vehicle. More on the yoke thing. So the horn button is here. I'm not going to do it yet. Although I always do a horn test in my videos. So I have to do a horn test at some point. But the horn button's here. And the reason that's annoying is because in an emergency situation, your default is just to hit the Tesla pad. And that does nothing. And furthermore, it's not just the fact that you'd want to hit the horn. It's like if you had to like quickly grab the wheel and you're just expecting to be able to have a whole rim here and there's nothing there, that would be freaky. I really hope today we don't have to encounter that in person, but I can only imagine that's got to be a total gut check as to whether you can handle the yoke or not. Can you handle the yoke? It's the question of the age. So many of the self-driving or semi-autonomous systems that are in mass production cars are pre-mapped. So like they're using data about how roads look, where lane markings are, and so you kind of have this expectation that they're going to be based on data that's out there, not based on what's actually happening in a certain environment. So if they did construction this evening on this road and it all of a sudden had a kink in it that wasn't there before, the pre-mapped data wouldn't know about that. Whereas the Model X and Tesla's system is sensing and reading with cameras all of that's happening right now. And so it's able to respond way better than those pre-mapped systems can. And I think that just fills you with confidence if you're using these systems. And okay, let's see how it navigates this. Wow. So it knew there was a car merging in. It decided, hey, we're going to let them go forward in that instance. That's like exactly what I was just talking about, responding to situations in the very moment. And I know other mass production cars have camera systems that respond to things like that, but I've never experienced one that deals with it nearly as well as Tesla's does. Can also show you a lane change, which happens promptly. I feel like in other vehicles I'm in, it's like, okay, we got to wait a second, make sure the coast is clear, then wait 4 more seconds and then do it. The Tesla's like, it's clear, go. It just does it. I've taken us out of drag strip mode now to stop all of the intense noises of the vehicle cooling the batteries for prime acceleration, because I want to hear how well insulated it is. And there's a faint brush of wind noise here at the seams. And the road noise, there's some of it there, but it's really way, way, way better than I remember the last Model X, which honestly sounded like I was in the eye of a storm at all times, at all speeds. And it just spoke to a feeling of like cheap build quality. This is not that. This is notably better. It's not as well insulated as some of its luxury car rivals. 2 that I'm thinking of right now, just Alpina XB7, that's another 3-row, super powerful SUV, and Lamborghini Urus, you know, if you want to do 2-row, like ultra performance SUV, both of them are just better luxury products when you're not hearing the Urus's twin turbo V8. And so I guess the silence of the Model X Plaid is both a benefit and a negative in that because it's so silent, you hear more of the wind and road noise, but also because it's silent, it's, I suppose, more serene. And speaking of serenity, these seats are incredibly comfortable. So it's not just the fact that the suspension system is well damped, but with the seats being this cushy, it's like, this feels thoroughly luxury. The ride comfort. With all of this performance, the braking does come into consideration, because when you get to the speeds that you can achieve in this vehicle as quickly as you do, the brakes have to be in like kind triumphant. They have to be so strong. They have to be able to match the performance. And I don't feel like I get that out of the Model X Plaid's braking. It's like, so I'll accelerate, so there's no one behind me, and then it's a mush. It's a mush pedal. And that doesn't give you the assurance that you're going to be able to stop, and not just stop once, but like stop consistently when you're tapping into the performance, especially if you're thinking, I'm going to go take out my Model X to a canyon road. I don't know. Certainly not the racetrack, but maybe even a canyon road after a couple hard corners getting onto the brakes. I'd be worried you're going to stop just as short for that next corner. So yeah, the brakes don't add up. Speaking of how things add up, how does the Tesla Model X Plaid stack up against the two vehicles I mentioned already, the Alpina XB7 and the Lamborghini Urus? So the Plaid, $132,000. Alpina XB7, $142,000. It makes 612 horsepower, a lot less than this, of course. 0 to 60 for that one, 3.8 seconds. No slouch by three-row SUV standards, but way off the 2.5 seconds for the Plaid. Top speed for that one is 180 miles per hour, which trumps the 165 of the Model X Plaid. And I'll say the Alpina XB7 stylistically just looks like an X7 with some, I don't know, bodywork on it, but inside is exquisite. That's a true luxury product. You get what you're paying for that one. Whereas the Model X Plaid is like nice details, but not $130,000 nice interior. Then there's the Lamborghini Urus, $215,000. What are you getting with that one? Pretty wild styling. Some like it, some don't. I think it's good in the right color. 641 horsepower from that twin-turbo V8. 0 to 60, 3.2 seconds. Some of us even faster. Quick, certainly. Still way off the pace of 2.5 seconds for the Model X Plaid. That one is currently tied as the world's fastest SUV with a top speed of 190 miles per hour, although that Aston Martin DBX 707 is coming out with 195 mile per hour top speed. The Urus 2-row, you're not going to have as family-friendly of an environment as this 3-row Tesla Model X Plaid. I'm going to say in conclusion, the exterior of the Model X Plaid doesn't really do anything for me. The interior has promise, but is still way off the pace of those three, I don't know what was happening there with that guy walking across the road, of those, six-figure SUVs. But the driving experience of this car is so good, and the tech is also so good that I can justify the price tag, and it being the least expensive of the set. I get it. I understand the hype behind this vehicle. Hope you guys have enjoyed this POV drive review. If you did, please like, comment, and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Hit that bell to get notified. Get cut off by a Honda Insight. And I will see you again next time.